June 28, 1914. The Austro-Hungarian royal heirs arrive in Sarajevo for what is supposed to be a standard diplomatic visit. But their driver makes a catastrophic mistake. He takes a wrong turn down a side street. Realizing the error, he slams on the brakes and tries to throw the car into reverse, stalling the engine and trapping the royals in the middle of a crowded street. Standing just 5 feet away is a 19-year-old nationalist named Gavrilo Princip. He steps up to the stalled vehicle, draws a pistol, and fires the fatal shots. Princip's bullet provided the spark for a mechanism that had been under construction for decades. It is tempting to look back at 1914 and see Europe as a peaceful continent rudely interrupted by violence. But the continent was actually a mountain of dynamite. It was layered with toxic systemic forces, waiting for a single match to ignite it. To understand how the entire world went to war, we have to freeze time right before that assassination and examine the 3 explosive layers stacked directly beneath the continent. By 1914, Europe is dominated by 6 massive empires. They are ruled by unelected monarchs who wield absolute, unchecked power over millions of people. And in a bizarre twist of history, the ruler of Germany, the Russian Tsar, and Britain's king are first cousins. Global geopolitics is effectively operating as a paranoid family feud. These monarchs are driven by an economic imperative. Industrial capitalism requires their empires to constantly expand, capturing new territories to loot global resources and secure cheap labor. This greed breeds deep paranoia. To protect their colonial wealth from each other, these empires quadruple their military spending, stockpiling industrial-scale weapons. This rapid arms race guarantees that when a war finally broke out, it would be fought with a mechanized lethality human flesh had never encountered. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire is crumbling, leaving a massive power vacuum in Eastern Europe. In this void, fierce, race-based Slavic nationalism takes hold in the Balkan region. Independent states like Serbia begin demanding territorial unity for all Slavic people. The neighboring Austro-Hungarian Empire watches this with terror. Fearing an internal nationalist uprising from its own citizens, Austria aggressively and illegally annexes the region of Bosnia to assert its dominance. This imperial theft deeply enrages the local population. It directly births the secret revolutionary student groups that begin plotting violent revenge against the Austrian crown. The final layer is a trap: 2 rigid alliances built on mutual fear. Post-assassination, Austria wants to crush Serbia, but hesitates due to Russian protection. Germany fatally gives Austria a blank check of support, sparking an impossible ultimatum. Knowing what's coming, Russia mobilizes its massive army. This causes Germany to panic and formally declare war on Russia. To avoid fighting on 2 fronts, Germany executes the Schlieffen Plan. They invade neutral Belgium to attack France quickly. Because Britain had promised to protect Belgium, they are immediately dragged into the fight. The rigid mechanics of these treaties make diplomacy impossible. A single bullet fired in Sarajevo activates an automated system, plunging the entire continent into war in a matter of weeks. The monarchs push out propaganda framing the war as a glorious, heroic adventure. The reality is millions of men using 19th century marching tactics against 20th century machine guns and poison gas. There are brave moments of human rebellion against this forced slaughter. During the miraculous 1914 Christmas truce, opposing British and German troops drop their weapons to sing, exchange food, and celebrate together in the frozen mud. But their commanders force them back to the killing, and the violence is not contained to Europe. The empires drag their colonized subjects into the meat grinder. Britain extracts over 1 million soldiers from India to fight for imperial interests. The result is mass casualties on foreign soil and severe agricultural shortages that trigger starvation back home. The royal family feud is paid for almost entirely by poor, working-class, and colonized people who have absolutely no stake in the conflict. When the guns finally stop, the geopolitical map is shattered. 4 massive empires, the Russian, German, Austro-Hungarian, and Ottoman, completely collapse. This is a map of the secret Sykes-Picot Agreement. French diplomats divided the spoils, drawing arbitrary, straight lines across the Middle East to carve out borders that continue to cause conflict today. In Europe, The Treaty of Versailles inflicts crippling economic punishment and deep humiliation on Germany. This creates the exact desperation and anger required for Adolf Hitler's eventual rise to power. The empires of Europe engineered a system so unstable that even a driver's wrong turn could bring the entire structure down. They left behind a world wired for conflict, proving the lethality of a globe where greed and militarism go unchecked.